Ban, 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 ban. What is it good for? Absolutely. Say it again. Good God. Wow. Dun, 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 dun. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War coming up on Maddie's Rap. Y'all stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Maddie's Rap. I'm your host, the multiple award-winning author Matt D. Talford, and now war correspondent, apparently, war correspondent Matt D. Talford, author of 2 incredible books that I will tell you about at the end of this video, if my battery doesn't run out first. All right, because this is like my 3rd, 4th take. All right, guys, what are we talking about today? First off, thank you to my returning subscribers. I love you guys. Please continue to comment and open up the community. I'm a single, any YouTuber that is giving you a monologue is giving you a monologue. The dialogue happens in the comments section. So please, let's dialogue by leaving a comment and responding to comments that others leave. My only ask as the owner of this channel is that you would please be respectful with your comments, both to me, with regards to the video, and please be respectful to other commenters. Let's be adults here, right? Now, and if you're new to this channel, thank you for stopping and clicking on this video. Now, Matt, why'd you call yourself a war correspondent? It is pretty obvious now that we're in the thick of a spiritual war that, in my opinion, began back in 2000, actually was signaled back in 2017 with the total solar eclipse that moved from the west coast of America and left through Charleston, which is significant. Charleston, South Carolina, on the East Coast, which is significant because that was the primary port for the transatlantic slave trade here to the United States. That was the primary port. I did a video on that. I'll put the link in the description box below. War correspondent Matt, why? Two days ago, I dropped a video titled "The War on Kanye." I'll leave a link in the description box below. You guys, I ask you to please check that video out. It offers an interesting perspective and a different take on what's going on. But today, I decided to come out and shoot a video and deal with the fact that we are at a spiritual war, and this stuff is tied to biblical prophecy as well as astrology. And I want to make that connection for you guys. So let me jump right in because I don't want this video to be terribly long. And guys, I apologize for the background noise. I'm going to try to speak over it. Now, I went to bed last night. Right before I went to bed, I looked at an article from ESPN that is pretty much where the establishment, if you will, is now targeting Kyrie Irving and accusing him of promoting a film and book series that presents anti-Semitic disinformation. That is, and I'll put a link to that article in the description box so you guys can read for yourselves. Now, let me show you guys how this stuff links to astrology and even scripture. All right, I want to tell you why. Let me just put it out there. I want to explain to you guys why this stuff is happening and why it's happening now in rapid fashion. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some homework because I'm not going to read these passages of scripture on the screen because I want this to be a short video. So, and I know I'm not supposed to say short video, okay? Because every time I do it, it ends up being like long. But anyway, I want you guys to read. I'll be referencing the 2nd chapter of Daniel, okay? Daniel chapter 2, the 11th chapter of Romans, and the 29th chapter of Isaiah, okay? We're talking what is happening right now. For those of you, I'm going to cut right to the chase. For those of you watching, what is happening right now is you're beginning to see the manifestation of this phase of an ancient war. Okay? So you got information. A key tenet of any war is information, or the dissemination of information. And so now you're having, for example, Kanye made some statements. I dealt with that in a video. I'm not going to do that again. But now for Kyrie being accused of promoting a film that puts forth anti-Semitic disinformation, you're seeing this pattern happening repeatedly. And I want you guys to understand something. It's going to continue to happen. And it cannot be stopped. Why? Because it's tied to Bible prophecy and it is tied to astrology. Let's deal with the Bible prophecy first. If you look at the 11th chapter of Romans, Paul references a spirit of slumber being placed upon the children of Israel. A spirit of slumber. You guys can read that for yourselves. Well, what is happening now is that that slumber is falling away. And the children of Israel are now waking up, okay? They are now waking up and remembering who they are. You guys have been following my videos for any significant amount of time. You guys know that I've said this and I hold this true. The Bible is not a religious book. The religious establishment took a set of ancient texts and formed it into something that is a mechanism of control. Who were the original creators of the worldwide religious establishment as we know it today? It was the Roman Empire. Now, if you know your history, you know that the Romans were the ones that delivered the crushing blow to the children of Israel, the last holdout being the tribe of Judah. The Romans dealt that blow in 70 AD. They did a little bit of mop-up work in 73 AD, and the children of Israel were driven out, okay? They were either slaughtered, forced south. They didn't retreat north. Nobody in any military history, when their back is broken, retreats in the direction that the enemy is coming from. War correspondent Matt D. Talford here. You don't run toward the fight when you've lost it. You run in the opposite direction and try to get as far from it as you can. Rome came from the north. Rome controlled the lands to the north. Rome did not control the lands to the south. So, the Israelites that did escape the slaughter in Judah, they went south. Okay, they went south, and then from south, they scattered on. And I'm not going to deal with that. Okay, nobody goes north. I know the alternative narrative is, well, they went and escaped to the mountains of Eastern Europe and blah, blah, blah. Rome control. Nobody runs to the direction of the enemy. Let's make that very clear. You can read any. You guys know. You saw my last video. I'm a big student of war history. Have been a fan of it. War movies, all of that. I follow that stuff since the time I was a little boy. Nobody retreats in the direction of the enemy. Okay. So now, so that's ancient war. I think I lost my point, but I'll come back to it. This is an ancient war. Now, what is happening? Why is this going to continue to happen, Matt? Why are these people going to continue to come out? Why different people going to continue to come out and claim, I don't want to say Jew or Jewish, I would prefer Israelite. And there's a reason, there's a fundamental reason for that. Let me give you guys my opinion on that. The original tribes of Israel were consistent of 12 different tribes, okay? 12 different tribes. When you hear the term Jewish or whatever, it tends to lend to Judah, one tribe. What happened to the other 11? Did they disappear from the face of the earth? I don't think so, okay? So I prefer the term Israelite, but that's just me, to each his own, okay? But these people that claim also that, hey, you know what, as Kanye said in his video, he said black people are Jewish too, or black people are Jews too. I won't comment on that. You guys, if you watch the original video, I put links to the original interviews in that video. So you guys can go, if you don't want to watch the whole video, just open that video and click the links in the description box and you can see Kanye's interviews with Chris Cuomo and Piers Morgan, okay? And if you can find the Drink Champs interview out there somewhere, it's out there somewhere. Anyway, let me keep it moving. This stuff is going to continue to happen because of that passage of scripture that I read in Romans the 11th chapter. Now, that spirit of slumber is cross-referenced back to Isaiah the 29th chapter. Isaiah the 29th chapter tells you how it's going to go down. Now, Daniel chapter 2, I'm going to hit you guys here. I'm going to give you some final thoughts and we're going to close this out. Homework, read Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2, in it, I'll summarize it for you guys. I'm not going to read it. In it, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, of the Babylonian Empire, the ruler of the Babylonian Empire, King Nebuchadnezzar, has this terrible and frightful dream, but then he wakes up and he cannot remember it. He feels the fear, but he can't remember why he's afraid. He just remembers that he had a dream that terrified him, and he cannot remember what it is. So he calls all of the wise men of the province and says, he calls all his astrologers, his seers, oracles, hey, you guys come on in here, tell me what this dream that I had was. They were all like, King, who can tell you what you dreamed? All right? And so he's like, I'll tell you what, y'all got about 24 hours to come up with what I dreamed and tell me what it means, or I'm chopping all y'all heads off because y'all useless to me. And so out of fear, they know that there's one guy in the kingdom, if there's anybody that can do it, it's Daniel. So they go find this Israelite slave, this Hebrew slave named Daniel, captive named Daniel, and said, hey man, your God is the only person, you serve a God that is the only energy that can reveal what the king dreamed and then give us the interpretation. You got to do this or he going to kill everybody in the province, including you, because you've been labeled a wise man. So Daniel, he prays. Beautiful prayer. You guys got to read Daniel chapter 2. It's a beautiful chapter. God, long story short, the Most High God gives him the revelation of the dream. He then goes and tells it to the king. He says, this is what you dreamed, king, and this is what it means, all right? In that dream, there's a giant statue, all right? And the end of that dream, a stone comes out and smites or hits the giant statue on the feet. The statue topples over and is destroyed, okay? And then a mountain fills the earth. He basically told them that was heaven coming to destroy this statue that is pretty much, when you guys read the commentary, if you guys want to look up the meaning of that, that statue represents various distinct different kingdoms that would rule from the time of the Babylonians, which was the head of the statue, through the present where we are right now, okay? When that comes down, that's it. No more of these different kingdoms and men enslaving men, okay? God's gonna rule, and you're gonna go back to your original design, which was you're a free spirit. This is why I tell you guys all the time, spirituality is what you are, religion is what somebody put on you. All right, so let me leave that alone. Read Daniel chapter 2. Why is that significant, Matt? Well, what has happened with this Kanye thing this month, I feel like that was the beginning. That was the trigger. That was the ignition for the stone coming down and smiting this statue on his feet, okay? Here's why I say that. Look at the significance of the timing, all right? Watch this. This is beautiful. This is where the astrology comes in. We just had, some weeks ago, a full moon in Aries, okay? Now, for those of you that understand a little bit about astrology, you know that the ruler of Aries is Mars. Mars in mythology is the god of war, okay? Now, Mars in astrology, and as it applies to us, Mars is the ruler. Your Mars sign suggests how you handle aggression, how you handle action. That is your Mars sign. So those of you that are familiar with natal charts and birth charts, you know that your Mars, whatever your Mars sign is, that is pretty much going to illustrate, not dictate, it's going to illustrate what your action style is and what your aggression style is, okay? Mars being the god of war, right? For those of you that understand the mythology, I'm not saying that there's, for those of you that want to start, Matt is into some mythology, he's into worshiping Greek. No, I'm monotheistic, always have been, always will be, all right? Always have been, always will be. But I understand how these things work, okay? I understand that the heavens are the realm of the gods. Also understand that we are gods in accordance with the creation story and the scripture. Not gonna get into that right now. I can put some stuff on the screen for you guys. So, Aries, a full moon in Aries. We know that the full moon is like the height. The full moon is the height. The new moon is the beginning. It's fresh new energy. So watch this. A full moon in Aries. Aries is the god of war. What happens? The ruler of Aries is Mars. Mars is the mythological god of war. So that ushered in some action energy, right? War, god of war. War correspondent, Matt D. Talford, all right? What happens 2 weeks later? We get a new moon in Scorpio. What is Scorpio? Scorpio is also ruled by Mars. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. But check this out. Scorpio is also co-ruled by the planet Pluto. Now here's what's significant, okay? I'm gonna give you the war connotation. Aries, the ram. If we're talking about war, Aries is the tank. If we're talking about war, Scorpio is the sniper. What is the Scorpio? Scorpio, its avatar is a scorpion. We know that the scorpion sits in the sand, it hides itself and waits for the right opportunity to strike its foes and strikes with some deadly venom. That's Scorpio. So that's war. Aries is the tank. Scorpio is the sniper rifle. Now, some of y'all, if y'all ever been bit by a Scorpio, I ain't talking about scorpion, I'm talking about a Scorpio. You know, the Scorpio hits you, they usually hit you out of the blue, and it's usually, when the Scorpio wants to take out revenge, they hit you out of the blue, and that sting is felt for a long time, all right? For those of you who know, all right? I grew up with a Scorpio in my house, all right? I ain't gonna talk about you, brother, all right? But we Capricorns, you know. Let me stop, man, let me stop. All right, let me get back to this. So, here's what's significant about Scorpio as well. You got a new moon in Scorpio. That new moon in Scorpio was a partial solar eclipse. We know eclipses usher in change, right? Now, What is Scorpio the sign of? Scorpio is the sign of one of the things that Scorpio energy is about is death and regeneration. All right, death and regeneration. Now, Pluto, also the co-ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is about karma. It's about past life. It's about ending some old stuff and beginning some new stuff. Now watch this. Pluto, the last time Pluto returned to the United States was, and I pulled this up as well, 1776. 1776. We know what happened in 1776. That was the birth of a nation. America declared its independence from England. That was 1776. Fast forward to 2022. Pluto returned to the United States on February the 2nd of 2022. So that was 2/22/22. Or 2/22/2022. Wipe the zero out. Pluto returned. So we know that Pluto ushers in karmic. You got to come in. You got to deal with this karma. You got to deal with whatever your past life karma was. Pluto gonna make sure that you deal with that. Pluto gonna make sure. Pluto is there to make sure that these karmic debts get paid, and that the new energy, something new comes in after it. So Pluto comes in. It holds up the record, says this is what you did. All right, this is what you got to pay back. Once you pay this back, we wiping this out and we starting something new. So how does that tie into all of this, Matt? In summary, this is war. What we're experiencing right now, people have been talking about this since 2020, talking about spiritual warfare. I did a video talking about what the significance of, what the biblical significance of, and the prophetic significance of the full solar eclipse over the United States was in 2017. In brief summary, it went from the west to the east. It was significant that that solar eclipse left the United States at the port where the transatlantic slave trade began. All right, or not where it began, but the biggest slave port in the U.S. was over Charleston. It was in Charleston. That eclipse left Charleston. Y'all go watch that video. I'm not gonna try to summarize that because I'm gonna get ready to wrap this video up. Pluto is the arbiter of karma, death, destruction, and regeneration. When Pluto came to, let me read a little of this article for you guys, and I'm gonna wrap this up because this article was significant. This is from a guy's blog named Wayne Dupree. So this is from WayneDupree.com. Pluto returns to the United States in 2022. The last time that happened was July 4th, 1776. I don't know if you believe in signs, but if you do, I've got a doozy for you, and it involves the planet Pluto. On February 2nd, 2022, the planet Pluto will come back to the United States. That has happened. The last time this happened was July 4th, 1776, the very day America was founded. Astrologically speaking, Pluto represents destruction and rebirth. Here's a thread that someone put together on the event. It might be a little woo-woo, but it's really interesting. On 2/22/22 will be a once in a 248-year event. Pluto is going to conjunct or return to the United States. The last time this happened was on July 4th, 1776, the exact founding day of America. Astrologically, Pluto brings destruction and rebirth. Rome fell when Pluto returned. First Pluto returned 219 AD. The Roman Empire's natal Pluto is at 27 degrees Cancer. The empire experienced a Pluto return during the years 218 to 220 AD. This was a period of a terrible ending after a great expansion. Second Pluto return, 464 AD. This was during the reign of some puppet emperor or other. From 461 to 472, it was the Germanic general Ricimer who managed the Western Empire. Historians end the empire in 476 AD when the Germanic king Odoacer, I don't know if I pronounced that right, there will be a link to this article below, deposed Romulus Augustulus. It is also very interesting that Kanye West's new album, Donda 2, releases exactly on this day and also depicts a burning house. There's Kanye West again. He started when this Pluto return started, and look who's the lightning rod for all of this latest round of reports about anti-Semitism. Kanye West again, okay? That is not insignificant. Okay, which may have double meaning. Okay, this is back to Kanye. New album, Donda 2, releases exactly on this day and also depicts a burning house, which may have double meaning to his personal life. but also a subliminal hint to what's to come to this country. Kanye even acknowledges the significance of the date in relation to Pluto's return and its astrological implications in an Instagram story post. Remember that 22 is the number of the master builder in occult practices. It is also interesting that this day will be the 22nd day of the second month of the 22nd year of the second millennium since Christ's birth, Anno Domini. I do not have any particular inclination to believe that something will happen on this exact day, but I do believe this signifies a turning point in history. I believe it signifies that we are in the season of destruction and rebirth, order out of chaos. But let's keep an eye on this date and this season that we are in. Big things are certainly coming, and most people believe that we are reaching an awakened age of enlightenment, peace, and prosperity, the age of Aquarius. All right. And that's about all I'm going to read from that. But basically, as you guys can see, the last time Pluto came here, all right, family, I'm back. The video stopped recording. It stopped recording because the battery ran out on it. But I am going to get ready to wrap this video up. I wanted to basically tie those astrological events back to what is happening. And when you talk about karmic debts being repaid and the past, what do we know about Pluto in astrology? Pluto handles karma. It handles past. It's your connection to your past, your connection to your past life. Some people don't believe in past lives or whatever. That's your choice. There is no way that the soul is not eternal. Okay, your soul. When people speak of death, they say, "Well, the soul exited the body." Did the soul die? No. Okay, so that means, did the soul just go somewhere and chill, or no? I think the rub. I think where people don't always agree with, past lives is that, Christianity or religion typically Christianity and religion typically hold the belief that the soul enters a body once and then is no more. It just goes somewhere in the ether, and the ether is either heaven or hell, and spends eternity there. Spirituality understands that the soul is on an endless journey. Okay, you guys have heard me say this in other videos. Time does not exist. There's no such thing as time. There is only divine timing and purpose. And purpose is directly tied to divine timing, and divine timing to purpose. So whatever a purpose is for the divine, that purpose will be fulfilled in divine timing. But that has nothing to do with time. It doesn't have anything to do with the time on the clock. It doesn't have anything to do with someone's calendar. Okay, one calendar in one culture may say one thing, another calendar in another culture may say something different. And when it comes to astrology, this is one reason why I don't get into the whole argument. Some people say, well, you know what, Western astrology or tropical astrology is not accurate. Sidereal astrology is. I've looked at both. And in sidereal astrology, I would be a Sagittarius. In Western or tropical astrology, I would be a Capricorn. When I've read the descriptions for both those placements, Sagittarius under sidereal and Capricorn under tropical, it's pretty much the same description. So it doesn't matter, all right? Now, so how are we gonna end this video? I just wanted to, again, get you guys to understand that Scorpio, we're in Scorpio season, and that's the other reason why this is happening. Scorpio is the sign of death and regeneration. Okay, there's some other things that Scorpio energy deals with, but that is the primary one that I'm going to talk about today, and that is the primary one that has to deal with, universal astrology. Okay, it is the death and regeneration. It is the phoenix rising from the ashes. That is Scorpio energy. Okay, things die so that they can return anew. All right, so we had a full moon in Aries, a war sign, if you will, action, aggression. Aries, ruler is Mars. Scorpio, action, aggression, ruler is Mars. Okay, ruler is Mars, but Scorpio also Pluto, death and regeneration. So we're in Scorpio season. We had a full moon and Aries kick off this action that we're seeing happen on the planet right now. And it is followed up by a new moon, fresh energy, in Scorpio. That was also an eclipse. Eclipses usher in change. And the type of change that comes with eclipses is typically permanent. It's not temporary, all right? It's not a temporary filling that you get at the dentist. It's a new tooth. It's a brand new tooth that grew up out of the gum. That's Scorpio, all right? I'm sorry, that is an eclipse. That's an eclipse. And Scorpio too, really, Scorpio too. Death and regeneration. So, how does the recent actions, and recent reports of Kyrie Irving now and Kanye West before him play into all of this? It's the season that these things happen in. And I'm here to say the rub is the term that has been slapped on all of these things. And I think, again, I'm going to deal with this in a blog post. So I encourage you guys to check out my blog, www.mdtalford.com. So I got an article coming this Monday. Okay, today's the 29th. This will be Monday the 31st. You guys check my blog on Monday the 31st, all right? And don't try to tie it to Halloween or none of that. Some of y'all just out there, some of y'all doing the most, all right? Don't try to tie it to no Halloween or nothing. It's just the day that I'm dropping the article. Typically when I drop an article, I drop it on a Monday, all right? So this is happening because of the ancient prophecies that, do your homework, are tied to Daniel chapter 2, all right? Daniel chapter 2, that the system is coming down. And this is the beginning of it. This is the beginning of the end of an old system that has ruled for about 3 millennia. Started with the Babylonians, okay? This is the beginning of the end of that season. It kicked off with a war, full moon, followed by a war, and karma, new moon, and eclipse too, okay? So the past that's being revisited is got tied to biblical prophecy that is in Romans chapter 11 and Isaiah chapter 29. Spirit of slumber was put on the Israelites way back when, but that wasn't to be a permanent spirit of slumber. They're awakening now. And so you're going to see more and more people claim or remember. Let me just say that. You're going to see more and more people remember who they are because the soul is timeless. So if the Most High put a spirit of slumber on these souls, he did it for a reason. Those reasons can be found in scripture. If you know how to study and break down scripture, this stuff is not a secret to you. This is actually a very fascinating time to be alive because we all got front row seats to arguably the greatest show in the history of the planet since the flood. Okay? Or some call the deluge. This is what we are about to witness is the greatest show on planet Earth since the deluge. I'm excited. So again, you're gonna see more of that. And to those that, you know what, I'll give you guys a sneak preview of the article because I may have mentioned this earlier, but I feel like the term anti-Semite or anti-Semitism is losing some of its original meaning. I feel like I feel like the term was coined after the fall of the Nazi Empire in World War II, the short-lived Nazi Empire, because they were running Europe for a little while, and then you guys that were war historians, the Allies defeated the Axis powers, and we have what we have today. I think that term came about at the end of that war, and it was something to that attached to anybody that was a Nazi sympathizer, if you will. They were labeled an anti-Semite. But over time, it has morphed into something that says, hey, if you disagree with any aspect of the people that carry the label, be it ethnicity or religion, that is tied to Judaism, then you are anti, okay? And whatever happened to debate, honest debate? This can be easily put to bed if the leaders of that particular faith, if you will, or those that claim bloodline lineage to the ancient Israelites, those that claim bloodline lineage to the ancient Israelites, These arguments can be easily put to rest by proving to these guys that claim that they are not who they claim to be. In other words, Ye and Kyrie and Ron Dalton and anybody that any of these large figures that claim to be Hebrews or Israelites or Jews, any of these people that look distinctly different, you can put this to bed by simply showing them, hey, look, biblically, this is why it's us and not you. And genealogically speaking, this is why it's us and not you. Anthropologically speaking, aka DNA, this is why this is us and not you. That should be very easy to, I don't know why there's an argument there. I don't know why, rather than slap a guy with a label that says he's an anti-Semite, you simply prove him to be an idiot by showing him the receipts. Look, here's the DNA evidence. Here's the skull match, because that's Ron. If you guys watch any of Ron Dalton's work, a lot of what he does has to do with DNA. If there's some other people that have done some great historical work out there, some Israelite historians, okay, or Hebrew historians that have done the history of what happened to the Israelites after the fall of Jerusalem. What happened to them? Where did they go? There's some people that have done some beautiful work that traces back to the fall in 70 AD and doesn't, for the most part, doesn't skip a beat. These people have done some great historical work, okay? And then there's some great biblical scholars that can show you the scripture that matches the people, the scripture that matches the historical accounts. Here's scripture. This is the prophecy from Moses that says what things would befall the Israelites if they turn their back on God. And just simply look at the match. The matches are there in history. So this should not even be an argument. That's all I'm saying, folks. That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna end this video right now because I could go on, but I'm trying to be, I'm trying to stay in the middle. Let me end it by saying this. I strongly doubt that any of these people that have received this label, any of the brothers, let me say the brothers, any of the brothers that have received this label in recent days, months, or years, I strongly doubt that they are anti anything and probably more truth. They're pro-truth. I think they're pro-truth. I think they're trying to say, hey, look, let's arrive at the truth. If I'm not who I'm claiming to be, then show me. Show me by DNA evidence. There's a reason why people do paternity tests. There's usually a guy saying, look, I don't want to take care of this kid. This kid ain't mine. Boom, you do a paternity test. You know what? He is your kid. They got you. This can be easily resolved with DNA. It can be easily resolved with looking at historical accounts that have not been obscured. Okay, and then you can look at scripture and tie that to history. And that's all I'm gonna say. So look, again, getting back to my point, I got away from it because this is a sensitive topic. And again, you guys saw my last video. I grew up with people who claim Jewish status either be via lineage or religion or both. Listen, let me say this, and I'm gonna get off of here. You cannot blame a child for what they were taught. All you know when you come here as a child is what you were taught. Now, maybe there's some point where your soul memory starts to kick in and you either identify with what you were taught or you find the fallacy in what you were taught. I believe that happens too, because soul energy is timeless. And again, everything happens at divine timing. But I say that to say, you can't blame somebody for what they were told when they were younger. I think that's why that passage of scripture in the 16th chapter of Jeremiah that says, it basically reads, roughly speaking, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up really quick. Jeremiah 16:19, O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee. Basically, the Gentiles are going to go to God from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Why? Why is that going to happen? That's going to happen because that's prophecy, by the way. That's going to happen because whoever the real Gentiles are, and that stuff's gonna come out. Look, let's stop. Let's put the argument to rest because we're in a season where all of this is gonna be revealed. All right, because we're all of the secrets went with the outgoing age, the age of Pisces. We're entering into the age of knowledge, which is the age of Aquarius. So all of these things are about to be revealed, and it's happening in rapid fashion. Okay, and if you guys haven't seen it, I dropped a video. I want to say it was earlier this year or last year, but it basically talked about, it showed the connection between the 3 days between the crucifixion or the killing of the Messiah and his resurrection and 3,000 years. What does it say? It says, well, basically 3 millennia. 3 days, 3 millennia, not 3 full thousand years. 3 days, 3 millennia. We know that the Messiah was killed, let's say for argument's sake, on a Friday, which means he would have gotten up on a Monday, or for argument's sake, he was killed on a Thursday and then got up on a Sunday. We don't know. We know there's different arguments. We know he wasn't killed on a Friday and got up early Sunday morning, because that ain't the third day. That would be the second day, okay, after he died. So, but anyway, we know that it's written, a day is as 1,000 years to the Lord. And just to summarize that video, I'll put a link in the description box. What happened on the hill of Golgotha was symbolic of what would befall the children of Judah after the Messiah left. What happened? The Messiah died on a hill. The tribe of Judah died on a hill, basically when the Romans flattened Jerusalem, when they flattened it in 70 AD. Okay, so then in the first millennia, from 0 to 1,000, this happened. Okay, the second millennia, from 1,002 to 2,000 AD, is the second millennia. And then we're seeing early in the third millennia, the children of Israel, or the children of Judah, are waking up and being resurrected. Y'all check the video out. I know I'm not doing it super justice, but I broke this down in a different video. You guys can check it out. That's all I got today. Guys, leave your comments below. And if again, please be respectful. Is what's happening today a signal of things to come? Check out my blog post on Monday. It's going to be very, very informative, okay? Very informative and it'll cover why I feel like the term anti-Semitism is beginning to lose its steam and beginning to be watered down. It's just getting used too much for things that can be either proven or disproven. You can't label somebody an anti-anything if they're not bearing the original meaning. I don't see anybody out there that's dropping hate speech. Okay, what I would consider hate speech. Let me get off this, guys, because they've made it so sensitive. And again, I won't even talk about spell work and how that works. Okay, but we know that words are spells, right? Okay, so we'll get off of that. Listen, if you got a comment, leave it below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, you like some of my other content, please hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified when I drop a new video. This was a sensitive topic today, but these are sensitive times we're living in, and it's war. We had a war full moon, a war new moon, and we're sitting in Scorpio season, which is about death and regeneration. And then Pluto has returned to the U.S. And with a Pluto return comes payment of karmic debt, destruction, and rebirth. So could this be the end? Some say so. You saw the article. It's up for you to decide. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You have to show it. Love is a verb. It's also a noun. But if you focus on the verb, the noun takes care of itself. Love you guys. Peace, family.
Hi, shalom, shalom from Israel. This is Ola, the daughter of Jethro. And I just heard that you black people that was stolen from Africa to America, that you don't know who you are. But you are the children of Yahweh, the children of Israel. And I'm telling you, you have to come back to your homeland, here to Zion, to Jerusalem, because us the Gentiles, we do need you. We need you to come and pray, because you are our saviors. You're the one that was chosen by Yahweh. to live in this land, not the Jewish people, it's you. You were stolen from Africa, they deceived you, they told you that you are slaves, but you actually the children of Israel. And it's time just to come back. Come for your people, come back for us, come back for the whole Gentiles, because only you gonna save us. So please come back to Zion.
See, is that another question is why? Why America needs Israel? In Israel there is no oil like in other Middle Eastern countries. There's nothing they can be attracted to. But why do they do all these things? Why do they invest money, bring white people and so on? When they build their system of white supremacy, just like in America they build in Israel. Why? And I can tell you why. Because the true Jews, according to the Bible, you can check it in the Bible, you can read Job 30 and some other places. They have never been white. They have been people of color. And they have not stopped in Ethiopia. They were in Ethiopia, Sudan, and they have settled in West Africa. From West Africa, they have been taken as slaves to America. Brothers and sisters, blacks of America, it's you. You are the true Hebrews. You are the true Hebrews from the Bible. America gonna do everything, gonna invest as much money as it has, gonna fight as much wars as they can, gonna invite as much weapons as they can just to hide this away from you. Gonna take Israel, gonna bring white people here and to tell you these are the Jews, gonna kill you, gonna kill Arabs, gonna mistreat white people like this guy just to tell you this lie. That you are nobody and we are the Jews with all the history and so on. It has been deleted, your history. You don't know who you are. Don't forget about it. This is why America has been taking your history away, never to find out that it's all about you. I'm telling you this, please. I don't ask you to come to Israel and to start a revolution. I'm just asking you to start thinking this way, to believe me a little bit. Because I'm living in Israel and I'm part of this injustice. I really believe that people like me and you, we can bring the justice back. Thank you.
Egyptologists and anthropologists, archaeologists of the Eurocentric persuasion will say that Egypt is in Africa. They had to concede that, but then they still draw the line by saying that they weren't Africans like that. In other words, they weren't dark-skinned people. And of course, this is all part of the Great Deception. And the reality is that if they give up Egypt, ancient Kemet, if they give that up and say that that was a part of black Africa, then they will also have to give up Israel. And that's why they draw the line at Egypt. Because if they give up Egypt, they've got to give up Israel.
Now, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you where Israel sits on the African tectonic plate, which means that Israel is northeast Africa. Now, when we look at this map, this is the Sinai, okay? This is the Red Sea. This is Egypt. This is the Sinai. This is Israel. All right, this is Saudi Arabia over here. Now, if you see this in Hebrew, it says Haluach Afrikani, the African plate. Here it is right here. Israel is sitting right here. Israel is sitting on the Haluach Afrikani, which means that Israel is northeast Africa.
Without question, we are in northeast Africa. We are landlocked to Egypt, with the exception of the Suez Canal, which was a man-made ditch, a boundary now between, in fact, it's not even really a boundary anymore since Egypt has reclaimed the Sinai Peninsula. But nevertheless, even those of us who are Pan-Africanists in our thinking and Afrocentric, we forget and we leave off that portion of northeast Africa and don't want to claim anything beyond that.
Europeans classified this area as a Middle East. You know, and then since this the Middle East, the other question, where the Middle West? Where the Middle North and where the Middle South? They don't have no geographical terms like that. And the only reason why they use that term, Middle East, because it disconnects the proper connotation that should go with describing this land geographically.
welcome back.
Oh, thank
In
you.
Hebrew, we say, Veshavu banim legvulam, and the sons will return to their borders.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Torah.